staying present to the here and now. Become like a teapot with an open lid, allowing Leon to read this parable and allowing any of the truths to fill you up.
Thank you, Alex. So today I want to read a parable about Metta. Alex gave us a wonderful Dharma talk last meeting about Metta. And so I was thinking about that. And as I was searching for something to read for you today, it just seemed like it would be a great idea to find something that kind of dovetailed into that. So I'm going to read something that came from the actual sutras. And before I read the actual background of the Metta Sutra itself, which is a sutra in the scriptures, I'd like to, and this may take a little longer, so I apologize, but I would like to read the translation of the actual Metta Sutra. And this will be good to have in mind as I read the background story, because you'll know what it's referred to in there, that the Buddha imparted this sutra to his followers, that this is what he was saying to them. So the Metta Sutra goes like this: who seeks to promote his welfare, having glimpsed the state of perfect peace, should be able, honest, and upright, gentle in speech, meek, and not proud. Contented, he ought to be easy to support, not overbusy, and simple in living. Tranquil his senses, let him be prudent and not brazen, nor fawning on families. Also, he must refrain from any action that gives the wise reason to reprove him. Then let him cultivate the thought, may all be well and secure, may all beings be happy. Whatever living creatures there be, without exception, weak or strong, long, huge, or middle-sized, or short, minute, and bulky, whether visible or invisible, and those living far or near, the born and those seeking birth, may all beings be happy. Let none deceive or decry his fellow anywhere. Let none wish others harm in resentment or in hate. Just as with her own life a mother shields from hurt her own son, her only child, let all-embracing thoughts for all beings be yours. Cultivate an all-embracing mind of love for all throughout the universe in all its height, depth, and breadth, love that is untroubled and beyond hatred or enmity. As you stand, walk, sit, or lie, so long as you are awake, pursue this awareness with your might. It is deemed the divine state here, holding no more to wrong beliefs, with virtue and vision of the ultimate, and having overcome all sensual desire, never in a womb is one born again. So that is the sutta, or the sutra as it's also translated. And so this is the historical background now of the story about behind which the Buddha expounded this sutra. It is told that 500 monks received instructions from the Buddha in the particular techniques of meditation suitable to their individual temperaments. They then went to the foothills of the Himalayas to spend the 4 months of the range retreat by living a life of withdrawal and intensive meditation. In those days, a month or two before the range retreat started, monks from all parts of the country would assemble wherever the Buddha lived in order to receive direct instruction from the Supreme Master. Then they would go back to their monasteries, forest dwellings, or hermitages to make a vigorous attempt at spiritual liberation. This was how these 500 monks went to the Buddha, who was staying at Savatthi and Jedda's Grove in the monastery built by Anathapindika. After receiving instructions, they went in search of a suitable place, and in the course of their wandering, they soon found a beautiful hillock in the foothills of the Himalayas. This, according to the commentary, appeared like a glittering blue quartz crystal. It was embellished with a cool, dense green forest grove and a stretch of ground strewn with sand, resembling a pearl net or a silver sheet, and was furnished with a clean spring of cool water. The bhikkhus were captivated by the sight. There were a few villages nearby and also a small market town ideal as alms resort. The monks spent a night in that idyllic grove and the next morning went to the market town for alms. The residents there were overjoyed to see the monks, since rarely did a community of monks come to spend the retreat in that part of the Himalayas. These pious devotees fed the monks and begged them to stay on as their guests, promising to build each a hut near the grove on the sandy stretch so that they could spend their days and nights plunged in meditation under the ancient boughs of the majestic trees. The bhikkhus agreed, and the devotees of the area soon built little huts in the fringe of the forest and provided each hut with a wooden cot, a stool, and pots of water for drinking and washing. After the monks had settled down contentedly in these huts, each one selected a tree to meditate under by day and by night. Now it is said that these great trees were inhabited by tree deities who had a celestial mansion built, appropriately using the trees as the base. These deities, out of reverence for the meditating monks, stood aside with their families. Virtue was revered by all, particularly so by deities. And when the monks sat under the trees, the deities, who were householders, did not like to remain above them. The deities had thought that the monks would remain only for a night or two and gladly bore the inconvenience. But when day after day passed and the monks still kept occupying the bases of the trees, the deities wondered when they would go away. They were like dispossessed villagers whose houses had been commandeered by the officials of visiting royalty, and they kept watching anxiously from a distance, wondering when they would get their houses back. These dispossessed deities discussed the situation among themselves and decided to frighten the monks away by showing them terrifying objects, by making dreadful noises, and by creating a sickening stench. Accordingly, they materialized all these terrifying conditions and afflicted the monks. Excuse me. The monks soon grew pale and could no longer concentrate on their subjects of meditation. As the deities continued to harass them, they lost even their basic mindfulness, and their brains seemed to become smothered by the oppressing visions, noise, and stench. When the monks assembled to wait upon the senior-most elder of the group, each one recounted his experiences. The elder suggested, "Let us go, brethren, to the Blessed One and place our problem before him. There are two kinds of range retreat, the early and the late. Though we will be breaking the early one by leaving this place, we can always take upon ourselves the late one after meeting the Lord." The monks agreed, and they set out at once, it is said, without even informing the devotees. By stages, they arrived at Savatthi, went to the Blessed One, prostrated at his feet, and related their frightful experiences, pathetically requesting another place. The Buddha, through his supernormal power, scanned the whole of India, but finding no place except the same spot where they could achieve spiritual liberation, told them, "Monks, go back to the same spot. It is only by striving there that you will effect the destruction of inner taints. Fear not. If you want to be free from the harassment caused by the deities, learn this sutra. It will be a theme for meditation as well as a formula for protection." Then the master recited the Karaniya Metta Sutra, hymn of universal love, which the monks learned by rote in the presence of the Lord. Then they went back to the same place. As the monks neared their forest dwellings, reciting the Metta Sutra, thinking and meditating on the underlying meaning, the hearts of the deities became so charged with warm feelings of goodwill that they materialized themselves in human form and received the monks with great piety. They took their bowls, conducted them to their rooms, caused water and food to be supplied, and then, resuming their normal form, invited them to occupy the bases of the trees and meditate without any hesitation or fear. Further, during the 3 months of the range residence, the deities not only looked after the monks in every way, but made sure that the place was completely free from any noise. Enjoying perfect silence, by the end of the rainy season, all the monks attained to the pinnacle of spiritual perfection. Every one of the 500 monks had become an arahant. Indeed, such is the power intrinsic in the Metta Sutra. Whoever with firm faith will recite the sutra, invoking the protection of the deities and meditating on metta, will not only safeguard himself in every way, but will also protect all those around him and will make spiritual progress that can actually be verified. No harm can ever befall a person who follows the path of metta. Thank you. And I'll turn it back over to Mr. Alex now.
Thank you, Leon. So now I'll just open it up. Thoughts, comments, feelings, reactions. Really no right or wrong. It's sort of what caught your attention and what, how it spoke to you.
Well, sometimes when you sit down to meditate, it's a lovely, easy experience. And today, and apparently for some other people, it seems like the deities are attacking your mind while you and attempt to meditate. So that that resonated with me. But there was actually something far earlier where one of the qualities of I don't know exactly what it was. I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong. But the qualities of goodness was being not busy earlier, and I just found that fascinating because I also often give myself a bit of a guilt trip for not being busy and not using time productively. And I just thought that was a fascinating thought.
I think that's a good point. I think that one of the things that struck me is in the beginning of the sutra, we think the Metta Sutra, it's about loving kindness and putting out these waves of loving kindness, and it is, but the sutra starts with an examination of your own self and your own behavior. And I found that really striking because that's the lesson of the Buddha, I think, so much is, we look at the out there and think that's different from the in here. And so, he gives us guidance on how we should be gentle in speech, meek and not proud, be contented, don't be over, tranquil. It goes on and on, all the great attributes of someone who's happy and at peace and honest and all that. So I thought that was really interesting, that it really starts on your assessment of your own inner state. It's more as much of an inner as is an out there external thing.
I think for me, the thing, I don't know, that I got was, if you don't succeed, then get some more tools, try a different way. And just to be persistent, I guess, is kind of what I got out of it. And the power of finding the right fit for the tool for what you need to do. I don't think tool's the right word for it, but you know what I mean.
I also saw like how karma plays into it, because whenever the monks were practicing metta with the devas or deities, the deities started to treat the monks nicely, and then because the deities treat the monks nicely, now they were able to attain enlightenment. So by practicing metta, in the end, you realize enlightenment.
I'm sorry, Leon, I had muted your microphone because there was noise coming in, so you'll need to unmute yourself.
I was just kind of thinking back to what Jim was saying about how, one day it's beautiful and the breeze is cool and you're sitting outside and the flowers are blooming. Oh, I'm having a great meditation today. But then, something, you're in a different environment. And I think what it says to me is, again, is go back to the situation, but look at it a little differently. Look at it more, realizing that this love is supposed to be universal and it's supposed to affect not only you and the person you're sending it to, but really universally everyone around you. So it's the whole picture, right? But in a way, I think it just says to me that the location, this idyllic location, wasn't the goal, was it? To have a perfect place to meditate. It was, they went through all this and learned learned to express metta, and then they transformed the place from, it's the same place, right? All the same elements are there, but through their own effort, they transformed the experience they had at that same place, because the place didn't change at all.
Weren't the words something like the Lord used his supernatural powers to scan all of India? And he's like, no, it's that spot where we already were.
That's right. You're already in, that's what I mean. Yes, exactly right. You're already in the best spot. So study, think, here's another tool, go back, try again. So all the things everybody has said are great. They all kind of support the same idea, I think.
Good. I think it's also interesting to note that the Buddha didn't say, you know what, start a fire at the base of the trees, and if the deities give you any more
Smoke
problems,
'em out.
threaten to smoke them out. Instead, he went completely opposite and said, here is a mantra, a mantra for you to recite. The metta, the loving kindness, that's the translation I gave you all last week was, may all beings be happy, may all beings be safe, may all beings be healthy, may all beings be at peace. And so some mantra similar to that is what the Buddha gave the monks. That's what the monks then took with them to the same spots with the same beings who weren't very welcoming, and yet that mantra of loving kindness helped transform the situation. Now, like a lot of scriptures and sutras, their main focus is on the teachings or the truth, is not all the details. And so it's okay to think that, well, maybe the monks did certain things differently, or maybe the monks did something that was a loving kindness, an act of loving kindness, that was part of their meditations as well. And so that or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all they did was just chanted the same phrase over and over again, and that's what cured the situation. But it sort of speaks to us and our situations, that we don't. It is beneficial. We do want to get to a point where we're not too busy, not too unsettled, where we do care for ourselves. But if that's the spot where you're at the moment in all of India, then that's the right spot for you. And that's where you begin. And that's where you start with then the sort of the meditation of loving kindness, acts of loving kindness. So you can have meditation in action. So meditation does not necessarily have to be just sitting in quiet stillness. You can have meditation in action, where you're mindful acts of loving kindness are part of your meditation, where your everyday activities, brushing your teeth, can be a mindful act of loving kindness towards your self-hygiene, towards yourself, and towards those around you who might be very close when you speak. Simple acts. Go ahead.
I'm
Leon.
sorry. you were just talking about one of the parts of this is as you stand, walk, sit, or lie, which pretty much covers everything, right? So long as you are awake, pursue this awareness with your might. It is deemed the divine state here. So that's really what you're saying is
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
time.
I know for me, so personally, I find it, um, I find that when I do the meditation first and do it for long enough, and so 10, 15, 20 minutes, and just focusing on loving kindness, then I'm able to walk, or, but go on with my day, feeling in a better spot and reacting from a better position or from a better perspective, in a more loving way. Um, it tends to wane as the day goes on, and so it needs refreshing. And so I may go back and do some more meditation, or I may do something to remind myself of the state of loving kindness. Um, but I find that if I can try to maintain that, and it's an effort, it doesn't just come easily. It's something, if you work to maintain that attitude. Remember, I used the word that this is an attitude, a way of approaching life last week. That your day flows differently, in a more positive way. There's more resilience towards any negative outcomes. Um, but it's something that you maintain, something that you work at. Um, so try it out, see, or pay attention. How do you behave and act after service on Tuesday? Do you see a difference in your perspective on the world around you? Do you see a difference in how you react to other people? And how does that differ from Monday, when it's been a week since the last service, and any effects of the meditation may have worn off by then? Um, how are you reacting then to similar situations? And so that's a really great way of paying attention to your own life to support the idea of how metta meditation can benefit you. And start small. It doesn't have to be something huge. You don't have to find the perfect tree in India and start there. I'll leave it open for that we've got about 12 minutes left. We don't have to use all 12 minutes. I'll just leave it open to anyone who wants to give us final comments or thoughts, questions, anything.
I think that's good. It's a good sentiment for me because I do get frustrated that I don't have a quiet place to meditate, or struggling to find the time. I'm trying to get a schedule of it. And just when we were meditating just now, my son burst into the room, and it's kind of like it just startles me, and it's just kind of like I struggle, and I think that's part of figuring it all out. And if there's not a perfect tree, then you just keep doing it, and eventually it's gonna get to where you need to be. But I definitely am struggling to find that perfect tree in San Antonio, that's for sure. For sure.
Having little ones, I know that they will burst into in my room whenever I'm meditating. Um, and it was I remember the first time that I did nothing. I didn't react. I stayed in the posture of meditation, and the kids were kind of like, "Is something wrong with Daddy?" And so they were like, "Daddy," and they were like shoving me and moving me. "Laddie, are you okay?" So I had to tell them, "Yes, I'm meditating." And I'd already introduced them to meditation, and then I said, "I'll be with you shortly." And so they went away. I was able to then not disturb my meditation so much. I didn't even open my eyes when I told the kids this. Um, and now it's to the point where, if they walk in and they see me in meditation, they know that, all right, they got to wait until I'm done and I'll come after them. Um, but it takes practice. It's not something, if you have the expectation meditation is X, quiet spot, incense, really good music that's calming, and if you have all these conditions for what meditation is, then you're really restricting yourself to what meditation is. But I think what Leon's pick for the parable or the stories for today really shows is that we can work with what we have and start there. And little by little, we'll see the transformation happening, that it'll go from life saying, hey, wake up, hey, I need your attention, to life recognizing, all right, you're in meditation, I'll wait till you finish. But it takes time.
Yeah, I was also thinking about how on Sunday service, or actually it was right before, teacher was talking to me about how you should practice meditation all the time. Like there's no activities you shouldn't be practicing meditation on. Like the bell, whenever you ring it at the temple, or whenever you place the incense in the censer, you always be meditating all the time. So yeah, that helped me.
I like that. I think that was a good summary. So unless anyone has anything else to add, I think we will let Christopher have the last words of wisdom for us. For announcements, I think this, let me see. I know we have a service on Sunday. Do we have the Meditation 101?
I believe it is this Saturday. But again, check on our website, the meetup, and there's a meetup for it. It's just like for this one.
No, it doesn't seem like we have any this weekend. So no Meditation 101 this weekend. All we have then is the Sunday service, and then next week we do not have a. Oh wait, never mind. I take that back. So this Saturday, yes, we have an intro to Buddhist meditation class. So if
Yes.
you go to the meetup page, you will have there the link. It's on our Facebook page, and so you can watch it live. That's at 10 a.m. this Saturday. And then we'll have our Sunday service on Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Again, Facebook page, you can watch it live there. We will not meet again until May 4th. So we will not meet next week. So our next meeting will be in 2 weeks. And I have no clue what to talk about in 2 weeks. So if anyone has any thoughts or ideas of what you'd like to hear about from Buddhism, any questions about Buddhism, shoot me an email, respond to any of my meetup reminders. You can hit reply and it'll go to me, or post a question on the Facebook page, and hopefully one of you will inspire what the next talk will be. Leon, anything else that I forgot?
Not that I know of. I think we're
Okay.
just.
Well, good. All right. Well, then I wish you all happiness, health, safety, and peace. Thank you very much for being with us here today. Let's do just a real quick sharing of the merit, and then we'll head on out. May any merit accrued today by our sharing of the Dharma bring us and those around us health, happiness, safety, and peace. Thank you
Have a
very
great
much.
week or two, everybody. See you soon.
Take care, everyone. Goodbye. I'll stick around if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, Jim. Bye, Christopher.